This pair came from one of the most successful visual effects houses in Hollywood. They're hailed and reviled for having very strong opinions about the video game business and not being shy to speak up. The only thing that matters, of course, is that they're making great games. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Oddworld inhabitants Lorne Lanning and Sherry McKenna.
I got in the video game business because I finally convinced Sherry McKenna to be partners with me in this crazy company called Oddworld.
I met Lorne at Rhythm & Hughes. He ended up being my head creative director on a show that we were doing, Safari. We're working and we're slugging around and slugging, and Lorne's saying to me, "Don't you really want to do video games?" And I go, "Video games? What are video games?" And he goes, "Well, Sherry, you know, you're just so used to having people come to us because we're a service organization, but in video games, we would be the ones that would create the content." And I went, "I don't know what you're talking about."
The game business, when we started the company, seemed to largely be like Hollywood, you know. We'll make a movie, if it does well, we'll figure out a sequel, you know. And I was always impressed by how George Lucas had done Star Wars, how Tolkien had come up with Lord of the Rings, you know, these larger epics. For Oddworld, I wanted to start so that whoever gave us the money knew what they were getting into. And that this was not like, we're going to do a game, and then we'll do another type of game, and then we'll do a racing game, and then maybe we'll do a shooting game. It wasn't like that at all for us. For us, it was about, we're going to start planting the seeds to the real big, epic proportion games of the future, and it begins with you controlling characters on the screen that start talking to each other, things of this nature.
Hello. He starts telling me this story. I am telling you, I was like in awe. I was like, and it went on for hour after hour, and I was able to identify with these characters and say, "Oh, that's not good, he shouldn't be doing that." And the story just went on, and it comes to this just unbelievable climax at the end, and I just went, "Lorne, this is just like phenomenal. We have to make movies out of this." And he said, no, we're gonna make 5 video games.
I've been asked the question of how much I identify with different characters, Abe being one of them in the whole Oddworld scheme of things. And the truth is, I identify with all of them. You know, I think that when we look at ourselves, we find the full spectrum of human weakness, frailty, whatever's unattractive about our species, we usually find some degree of in ourselves. Abe, for me, embraced basic differences of right and wrong. And the Gluckins embrace, for me, what we all feel when it comes to making a profit. It's really about creating characters and circumstances that part of our own soul, part of our self identifies with.
Lorne and I were on a parallel belief system. And to have someone that really had depth to their statements and to their philosophy meant a lot to me, and I realized, wow, this is not going to be a game company. This is going to be an interactive company that cares about content.